crafty friends, it's Marie from Marie's Crafty Creations VT. I'm coming to you today to show you this quick and easy project that looks like an Etch-a-sketch. I don't know if you remember that as a child. I don't know about you, but I know I could never make an image on an Etch-a-sketch that looked anything like this. But that's the fun thing about crafting, is we can be very creative. So let me show you how to make this. So I'm going to start by bringing in the big shot to show you how I cut the frame for that red piece of paper. On here I have just a scrap piece of red paper, and we're going to use the square framelits right here, and we're using number let's see, it was number 4 and number 7, I believe. So you just line them up with the biggest one on the outside, and then make it so that your center one has a pretty even, or knock it off like that. Make sure that your paper looks even all the way around in this section here. And with the magnetic platform, it does hold that in place to make that easier for you. You're going to put your other clear plate on and just run it through the big shot. There will be some cracking, and that's normal. So that's what you're left with, is your little frame. You're also left with this negative space, which you could almost, if you did that in black, you could make a Polaroid picture frame. Just so a little tip for that. So then you can use any corner rounder that you have. I happen to have the We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper with me, and I'm going to do the 1/2 inch side and just round all the corners on this piece of paper. Oh, I didn't get very good. There. So there's our frame for it. I'm going to take a piece of vellum. I'm going to stamp. If you have gray ink, that's great. Unfortunately, that is a color I haven't purchased yet. So I'm going to use Stazon ink, and we're using the stamp set called Nuts About You. This is a Hostess stamp set that if you have an order of $150 that you can get for free for Stampin' Up. So we're going to use the tree image here and this little squirrel. So what you do is ink up your stamp with your Stazon ink. Get it good and covered. And then I'm going to stamp it off on the paper first. That way I get a lighter application of ink on my piece of vellum. So what I'm going to do is just line up my frame for a second to kind of see what area is going to show up through the space. And then it gives you this light gray effect. So we're going to do the same thing with the squirrel. Ink it up. Get it good and covered. Then stamp it on your paper once. And then again, kind of see. And this one I actually left the frame in so I could line it up so it wasn't underneath it. And there's that. So now we're going to adhere the vellum to the back of our sheet of paper. So just run your adhesive along the back. As my adhesive rips the paper and sticks to my finger. It's going to be that kind of morning. Well, we'll just add a different type of tape. So I wanted to line up the vellum so the little squirrel sat on the frame. There, isn't that cute? At this point, you're going to adhere your framed image onto a gray piece of cardstock. And that's what gives it the Etch-a-sketch look with the gray in the back. And now we're going to use the Dozen Thoughts stamp set, and we're going to stamp You Made My Day in Stazon black. And then you're going to adhere this whole thing to a piece of 8x4 folded in half, and I rounded all the corners with the 1/2 inch corner rounder card base. Make sure it's opening correctly, and then line that up. Then you're going to take the 1/2 inch circle punch and punch out 2 circles of scrap paper. And these are going to be your buttons. And I use dimensionals to pop those up. They fit perfectly behind these circles. Off the back. And put those right there. And there is our finished card. If you look here, they give you all of the dimensions for making envelopes for your cards. If your card is anywhere from a 2 by 3.5 up to a 6 by 8.5. So you just look on the list and find your size card. So here's 4 by 4. So it says we need a 6 by 7/8 by 6 by 7/8 piece of paper, and that our first square mark is going to be at 3.5. So I've already cut the square of paper, and so you put it in. I gotta flip my paper over, it's got some glue on it, so I'm sticking to it. So you line it up at the top right here to the 3.5 mark. You're going to take out the included bone folder, give it a punch, and then score it along this line. And then you turn your piece of paper, and if you see this score line right here, you're going to line this little pointy part up with that score line. So you don't need to measure anymore on the top, you just follow that score line. You punch it again and give it another score, and you do that around on all of the sides. And then if you want, on the back side, if you put your paper in, there's also a corner rounder. So this gives you rounded edges for your flats. So you put that away, and that's all the scrap that you're left with. And you fold and burnish your score line on all sides. And so it goes like that, and you're going to put adhesive right here and fold it up here, and then you have a perfect envelope to fit for your specific card that you've made. So you don't have to do standard cards and worry about having envelopes. If you have the envelope punch board, you can make pretty much any custom envelope that you need. And this that I'm using is score tape. It's terrible. It's double-sided. It's kind of like the red sticky tape that you can get from Stampin' Up. This I order online. I find it helps if I'm making like little scrapbooks and things. It goes quicker if I can use this, because it tears. You don't have to get out the scissors. And it's a strong hold. And just to show you, you pick your card. And it slides right into your envelope. Ready to go out for whoever's lucky enough to get that card. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for joining me, and feel free to like my Facebook page or subscribe to my YouTube channel at Marie's Crafty Creations VT. I hope you have a great day.